session, and while at closed session, the board members and Dr. Finley, Mr. Bell, Cece Carroll, Ms. Reina Diaz in favor, consistent with prior directives and authority given to the superintendent, the board ratified a settlement agreement in OAH case number 20220400024 with a certificated employee number BZ 0792321, a respondent in the district's 2022 reduction in force. The board also directed the superintendent or designee to resend these notices to the respondent and to implement the remaining portions of the district's 2022 reduction in force accordingly. Also, while in closed session with board members Dr. Finley, Mr. Bell, Ms. Carroll, and Ms. Reina Diaz, in favor, consistent with prior directives and authority given to the superintendent, the board ratified a settlement agreement in OAH case number 20220400024 with the certificated employees number JX1834211, number EF8589314, and number GW5976777, respondents in the District 2022 reduction in force matter. The board also directed the superintendent or designee to resend these notices to the respondent and to implement the remaining portions of the district's 2022 reduction in force accordingly. Also, the board members, Dr. Finley, Mr. Bell, Mrs. Carroll, and Mrs. Diaz in favor, consistent with prior directives and authority given to the superintendent, the board ratified a settlement agreement to resolve a dispute related to the reduction in force of classified employees between the district and classified employee number DC 1581535. The board also directed the superintendent or designee to resend these notices to the respondent and to implement the remaining portion of the district's 2022 reduction in force accordingly. Lastly, the board took action to approve, ratify the May 4, 2022 final settlement agreement and general release between parents and the Duarte Unified School District for case number 2022-IS, pursuant to which the district has agreed to provide educational services to the student, and the student's parents have agreed to release claims against the district in exchange for educational services as specified in the agreement. The roll call vote was as follows. Yeas 4, noes 0. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to see a full house here today. As you can see, I'm Reina Diaz tonight, so I'm taking over a spot for tonight. And we're going to start the meeting call to order at 7:17. Let the record show that the meeting will not be conducted via teleconference. However, Mrs. Diaz did participate in closed session from her remote location at Blue Shadow 2 Dock near Super Worker Raya. I didn't even know how to read this. Ashwan, okay, Egypt. She's in Egypt. Okay, there we go. Okay, so roll call. So, Mr. Bell.
Here.
Cece Carroll, I'm here. Dr. Finley.
Here.
And do we even say this? Okay, she's absent, so she's not here, of course, she's in Egypt. Okay, flag salute. Item number 6, that's going to be Mr. Bell.
I'd like to stand so we can salute my American flag. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Dr. Finley will be reading the belief, vision, and mission.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. So our beliefs. We believe we are a community of learners. We believe learning occurs in a culture of caring and respect. We believe all students are motivated to learn when they are engaged in meaningful work that connects to their lives. We believe expectations do influence performance and outcomes. We believe learning increases when there are high expectations for performance and conduct. We believe we have the responsibility to find solutions that enable all students to learn. Our vision is 21st century schools producing 21st century students, and our mission is to provide the knowledge, skills, and inspiration for each student for success in college, career, and life.
Thank you, Dr. Finley. So item number 8, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Vice President, with permission, staff would like to amend the agenda on item number, hang on, I need my glasses. Item number 7, the food service agreement with Foothill Oaks Academy for the 2022-2023 school year. Staff would just like to amend the line item that says the term of the agreement is from August 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2022. That should read August 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2023. Thank you.
Okay.
So as long as the board is amenable to amending the agenda to reflect that, then you can take your vote at this time.
Okay. Do I have a motion to the document that you just read? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay. We don't have, item 9 is reported students and board members.
Yes, what I just would share just with the board and with the community is that both of our students could not be here this evening. They're both tied up with school-based events, and so they're not able to be here. They're both seniors, and so we totally understand this time of the year it's busy for them.
Super busy for them. So we're going to jump to item 10, recognitions, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Amison again.
So I will go ahead and take a moment just to do our student board rep recognitions. I will talk about Ariana and Guadalupe, even though they're not here, just because I want them to be able to know what we thought about them and the exceedingly great work that they've done this year. And as a matter of fact, Ariana Cerna, for those who don't know, she's actually served this board for 2 years as a student board rep. She served throughout the COVID pandemic response, as well as this year. If you have watched any of our board meetings, and if you've heard Ariana, you know that she's very, very, very strong. She's extremely articulate. She knows what the students at Duarte High School, what they value, what they care about. She represents them exceedingly well. I think she has got a very, very, very bright future. And it has been a privilege and a pleasure to serve on the board alongside of such an admirable student board rep. So just want to say that about Ariana. And then Guadalupe has done a wonderful job representing the students at MIT High School this year, and giving us that the alternate perspective of what our students who are in our continuation high school, what they need and what they're thinking about and what's important to them. And I think that Guadalupe has done an excellent job representing that, and then also bringing very, very insightful commentary to the board as well. I wish them both well as they're both graduating this year, and I know that they're going to go on and do great things in our community and across this region. So thank you to both of them. And at this time, I'm going to transition and I'm going to move us over to welcoming our high school principal, Mr. Louis Haro, who will do some student recognitions for the high school class of 2022. Mr. Haro.
Hello, thank you for having me. Thank you for the introduction. I'm here as a principal of Duarte High School. It's my pleasure, my honor to recognize a few of our outstanding seniors. These seniors are valedictorians and salutatorians. We have 24 seniors this year with a 4.0 or better, but to be categorized or labeled as valedictorian and salutatorian, they have to really go above and beyond. And like I say, with these three fine academics, scholars. They've taken every single opportunity to the fullest advantage that they could. They've been involved in so many different things, so it's very, very well deserved. As a matter of fact, Ariana Sterna, she's not here tonight, but she really, when it comes down to the last, 0.0 difference between number 1 and number 5, number 6 is like one honors class. So, I'd be remiss not to mention Ariana Sterna. She was number 5 in our school as top senior. She's going to UCLA, which is outstanding. And then number 4 is Sebastian Acevedo. Any one of these can be our valedictorian and deserve that honor. But unfortunately, it does come down to just 0.2 sometimes. And this year, we have these 3 fine academic scholars I want to recognize tonight for their achievement. And they'll be also recognized at our graduation with their speeches. So we're looking forward to that as well. So I'd like to start off by calling, she's not here this evening because Carly Knowles is our salutatorian. She's actually out playing softball today. I got to. So she's our catcher for our softball team, and they're in the semifinal round for our softball game. And I just got word from text, and Dr. Emerson as well. We smeared that team 16-0. I'm really proud of Carly. Carly is just such a great athlete, great person overall. She's just such a fun person to be around with, great character, academic scholar to boot. She overall GPA 4.36. She participated in her college program, but she was more focused on AP courses, and it really helped her obtain her goals. And she was accepted to many, many, many schools, a lot of UCs, but she's going to stick around the area and go to Cal Poly Pomona. She wants to major in math. So we're super excited and proud of her, and she's going to do great things in this school for sure. So Ms. Carly Knowles is one of our salutatorians this evening. Another salutatorian, this young lady is just absolutely awesome. Let's call Sarah Dowry up here so I can get her. Mama right behind her there. So Sarah, if you want to talk about taking full advantage of opportunities, she absolutely did. In Duarte, we have City of Hope right across the street. She took full advantage of the opportunity. She interned there in the Roberts Academy research internship. So she spent a summer over there learning, working with side-by-side research scientists. Dr. Philly knows really well about that. So that was a great opportunity she took advantage of. She's part of youth in government, and she was at Sacramento over the last school year and participated in that program, which is great. She was part of the Fem Power Group. She did lots of things for the city. She was part of the Mayor Youth Council. She led a drive to help young people register to vote in the city. She overall, GPA 4.39. She played volleyball. She swam. She golfed. She was part of the early college program. She's going to end up with about 30 college units, ladies and gentlemen. So she's going to enter UCLA almost as a sophomore or junior. Pretty good. Sarah was accepted to USC, UCI, UC Davis, UC San Diego, all the Cal States she applied to, SLO, Cal Poly. Just overall, what more can I say about this young lady? She's going to do absolutely fabulous things. She's going to major in biochemistry at UCLA. She's in biomedical track. And on the medical track, I'm sorry. And then finally, what does she do for fun? She does yoga, she reads, she likes hiking, and she likes family movie nights with her mom over there. It's very kind. So the notorious Sarah Dowry. Carly's here. Carly, come on down! All over again. Hold that. So
Let's
here
hear it.
are two salutatorians, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Sarah. We have one more, of course. And then our valedictorian. I mentioned what these fine young ladies did. Catherine, so come on down. Catherine Sue again. Took full advantage of every opportunity she could. She ended with a 4.5 GPA. You don't have to get a 4.5. You have to balance out the number of honors classes with the number of non-honors classes, and that's how you get to that point. So she, every single AP class, she took a few early college classes. She just did everything she could to make sure that she's competitive and has an option. And she definitely does have options. She got accepted to UCI, UC San Diego, Cal Poly Pomona, Fullerton, a lot of the Cal States. She's going to go to UCLA. She's going to major in biology with the research, what was that? Pharmacy. Research pharmacy. So, and for fun, she likes to do jigsaw puzzles. So she was part of the Key Club, a health club, and just overall great students. You know, these students take full advantage, a lot of sacrifice. Talk about being driven, diligent, and you know, and what we love also is that they're just really, really good people. Yes. If you talk to the teachers, they couldn't be more prouder of our unemployment, the pride of our Falcons. We just absolutely love them and wish them the best of luck. So great job, ladies.
Yeah, and I invite the board to go down to the floor to take photos.
Ronnie, what's the final score? 16-0?
No, it was like 22-0.
Oh, 22. So we're in a semifinal on Saturday. If we win that game, we're going to play for the CIF Championship next week. Super excited.
Way to go, ladies!
Amazing accomplishment. I'm very fond of the Bruins, actually. But otherwise, just to have that many students in our school that are so highly accomplished or just so focused, it's incredible. Thank you, Mr. Morrow. You have a great class, a great bunch of kids over there. You have to know.
We do.
Would you like to, I invite you.
Thank you. So just really quick, just for folks who are watching this at home, currently right now we experienced, I'm told it's a brownout. So the live stream is up and it's running, but there's no audio. And so we're technical difficulties behind the scenes. We'll sync up the audio and make sure that the audio aligns with the video, and we'll have that worked out tonight, and then it should be up tomorrow. So I just wanted to make sure everybody kind of knew that. So the next thing we'd like to do is we'd like to recognize some really top-notch employees. So I have the distinct honor and pleasure of presenting our Classified Employee of the Year, Mr. I don't know if he's here. Is he here? Yeah. Mr. Mario, yes, there he is. Mr. Mario San Juan. I'm coming down there. All right. Come on down, Mario. You're the next contestant on Employee of the Year. All right, so Mr. Mario San Juan. So he has been chosen as the Classified Employee of the Year from the district office. Now, many of you know Mr. Mario. He is a familiar face around the district, having worked in various roles over the last 4+ years. Currently, he serves as the Secretary 3 in the Educational Services Department. He's got a fan in the audience. Where he supports so many of you across the districts. Mario's desk is the critical point of contact for so many tasks related to our district-wide programs, including CASP, LPAC, the California Healthy Kids Survey, CalPads, report cards, Parent Square, 8th grade promotion, independent study, Ingenuity. The list goes on and on and on. He is a critical conduit for our district. Complicating this long list of aforementioned tasks are the constantly changing legal and compliance requirements. Mr. San Juan always greets everyone with a smile and a "How can I help?" So, it's really important that I also say that it goes without saying that Mario San Juan is a critically important member of the district family, but it's even more important to know that Mario loves to spend time at home with his original family. Mario is dedicated to his mom, Rosie, his dad, Mario, our Mario is a junior, and his lovely sister, Diana. He has a passion for hard work and serving the community, and that stems from his moving to this country at 12 years old and from his experiences as an English learner. Please thank Mario for all that he does for our district office and congratulate him on his selection as a classified employee. Very good, thank you. All right, next I have the honor to recognize our Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Tanya Lickman. So, reading from her esteemed principal's words about her. So Tanya is one of those teachers that you come across only once in a great while. She is loved by students, parents, and colleagues. Students love her because she's creative, she's fun, she's firm, and she's caring. She knows each of her students' needs, their strengths, and their areas of growth, also their social emotional needs, and she can articulate how she is addressing those whenever she's asked. Parents love her because she respects them as partners. She takes the time to listen to their concerns, their goals, and most importantly, the aspirations that they have for their child. Then she uses that information to skillfully design instructional programs that meet the needs of each of her students. Teachers love her because she is a master teacher. She pushes them to be better by sharing ideas and best practices and keeping everyone organized. Never settling for good enough, Tanya is constantly looking for strategies, techniques, and supports to improve student achievement. Mediocre and Tanya Lickman are enemies. They cannot coexist in the same space. These are definitely the makings of a Teacher of the Year. Tanya's dedication to Team Maxwell goes well beyond just the walls of room 13. She's collaborative, she's a part of the school safety committee, she's a resident avid organizer, and she's an administrative designee. Her contributions to Team Maxwell and the families are invaluable. There are many teachers in the Duarte Unified School District that deserve to be Teacher of the Year. Team Maxwell believes that Tanya is most deserving because she is an outstanding educator that works to the max +1 to meet the needs of the students of Maxwell Academy, its families, and the entire school district. Thank you, Tanya. Last but certainly not least, I would like to ask, is he here? Is Gino here? I'm sorry? Oh, he is not here, but I'm still going to read it. So, our district leadership team member of the year is none other than Mr. Osberto Gino. Yay! Round of applause for Gino. I'm pleased to announce that Osberto Gino is the district leadership team member of the year. Certain people are known by only one name, Madonna, or Cher, and Gino. Gino has worked in Duarte for 12 and a half years, and the last 2 years has been the director of MO&T. So one thing I'll ad-lib a little bit here and go off script. The very first person I met on my very first day working in Duarte Unified School District was Osberto Gino. And he got out of his van with this huge smile and welcomed me, and I never forgot that warm, caring, friendly smile, because it's never, ever gone away. No matter when or where you come across Gino, I don't think I've ever seen him where he hasn't had a smile on his face. And so with that, when you need something done, you call Gino. When you're waiting for the bus to pick up students, you call Gino. When there is a bear in the tree, for some reason you still call Gino. I don't know why you don't call the sheriff, but we should probably call the sheriff. Gino, we just want to say thank you and congratulations for everything you do. Osberto Gino.
Okay, Nayla, I guess, come up, it feels like the Price is Right started.
Yes, we are going to invite Nayla Othman
Nayla.
to come on down.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for having us tonight. We appreciate the recognition and the time allotted to recognize our amazing schools. We have been, well, I've been doing PBIS for 6 years with Duarte Unified, but I know you've been doing it longer than I've been here. And so it has been an honor and a pleasure to see your growth, to see your amazing work, to see just for it to grow to the point where you've been awarded state recognition for PBIS. So what I've done today is that I've actually invited Dr. Resnick Lako, who's a Director 3, to help recognize all of your hard work and your efforts. You don't hear it from mommy saying good job, but from a bigwig. So Dr. Resnick.
But the longer I get education, the more the wig made me, right? Is that not true? Thank you, Nayla, so much for the invitation. Thank you for having me here tonight. My name is Ed Resnick. I'm the project director of the LACO PBIS unit. When I found out that I could do PBIS as a job every single day, I dropped everything, because I believe it is truly the passionate work of the adults who work on campus doing the best that they can for students. PBIS is a framework that is driven by the collection of data to help teams build systems and put in place practices to create safe, efficient, and equitable learning environments for our students. Much of what was shared this evening and displayed by the recognition that we saw from both adults and students. So I'm here humbly as a partner with Nayla, as a partner with everyone here. I'd be remiss if I didn't share that my colleague, Dr. Michael Chavez, who has spent some time working with many of you I'm aware of. I'm lucky enough to have spent the last 2 years working with him as well. So great work. I'm excited to be here. And enough from me, let's recognize people for the hard work that they've been doing. So first, I would like to let you know that I'm also here as a representative of the state of California, the California PBIS Coalition. I sit on the leadership team of the CPC, and every year the CPC reaches out across the state to recognize school sites for the work that they're doing in PBIS. They are very critical with regard to the recognition because they recognize the fact that the work we do in PBIS is not for recognition. It's for adults, and it's especially for students and their families. The recognition is nice, it feels good, it looks good when you hang it on the wall, but it's to recognize the hard work of the adults that have come together to do the work for students, their families, and the community. So here tonight we're recognizing 5 schools for earning silver, gold, and the highest level, platinum, recognition from the state California PBIS Coalition. So without further ado, I would like to begin tonight by recognizing Andres Duarte Arts Academy, where students roar, by being respectful, taking ownership, acting safely, and being responsible. Andres Duarte is our representative. As many as you can get up here, bring them up. It's the roll call. Want to come on in? No pressure. Andres Duarte earned gold recognition, which means next year it's platinum. Is that right? Keep adding. Can I just add that the last 2 years maintaining what's best for students with regard to school climate and culture has been the most difficult that I've seen in 30 years in education. And to earn this recognition following those 2 years requires more clapping, in my opinion. So. Next up, I'd like to recognize Beardsley Dual Language Academy. Pride in self and school, positive attitude, making wise choices, and acting safely. Beardsley, please come on up.
She's the photographer, Mom.
She takes great pictures. That's all my selfies.
Yes. Yes, so.
Oh, sorry. No.
Yes, so.
We were.
Earning silver recognition. Royal Oak STEAM Academy, where students soar, solving problems wisely, respecting others and themselves, maintaining a positive attitude, and making responsible choices. Royal Oaks. Where's Georgia? Georgia, we miss you.
Where is she?
Earning platinum recognition, highest level. Valley View Academy of Technology and Creative Learning, where students swim, they show respect, work as a team, identify and solve problems, and make positive choices. I'm sure there's a dance somewhere. And not to be outdone. And keep in mind, doing this work at the high school level is no easy task. It takes the work of strong leadership, not only in the administration, but within the staff as well. And when we talk about staff, we talk about adults on campus, teachers, certificated, classified, and admin working together. Duarte High School following the Falcon Way with pride, perseverance, respect, integrity, discipline, and excellent earning silver this year. Please come.
Mr. Watt, come on.
Duarte, we walk, right? No, I didn't.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having me this evening, Naila. Thank you for the partnership. Congratulations.
The banners will be sent to your sites, and of course, they're external, meaning outdoor banners, and the seals you guys hang them where you want. So I want to congratulate you one more time. I am very proud of every single one of you. I've seen your growth, I've seen your progress, so job well done.
I'm sure you can agree. I think all of board members up here are actually so proud of our schools. And I love the posters. They look beautiful. Okay, so item 11, presentation. Item 1, presentation annual financial audit for the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. And we have a second presentation on the annual Measure E general obligation bond audit for 2020 2021.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, and the board and district welcome Mr. Brian Ruff from E. Bailey here to present information on the financial audit as well as the Measure E general obligation bond audit. Ms. Ruff, thank you.
Thank you. Out in the cheap seats there, I saw your softball player, and being a former coach, I told her to hustle in. So it was mentioned on the education side of the house, the last 2 years from a business side of the house have been tough too for districts and auditors, and the manner in which we have to perform our audits, which were remote and then hybrid remote and then remote again, and it really was a challenge for everybody. And then going into this year's, or the June 30, 2021 audit, we had some change in staffing. So those that closed the books and knew those answers offhand, off their head, they were no longer with the district. So then Tiffany and George came in, and it was with their help that we brought the audit finally to the finish line and issued in March. I can't think of the time I presented in May for a board meeting. Usually we're looking at December or January. We're hoping to get on that cycle again. The state has not extended any audit deadlines. It's December 15th of 2022 for this coming audit. So getting to your results of your June 30, 2021 audit, there's a page in the audit report, page 80, and it's a summary of auditors' results. The first area is related to the type of auditor's report that we issued. This is on the financial statements. It's an unmodified report. However, we did have some minor audit adjustments, accruals that were not properly posted upon closing, and we also indicated an audit comment in the back of the report because of that. And it's just a reminder to make sure through the closing process that district staff checks to make sure that all those accruals that belong in the fiscal year being audited are posted to the audit actions. The second area is related to federal awards. This year the district received 2 pools of funding that we newly tested. They were the Coronavirus Relief Fund and the Education Stabilization Fund. Within both those audits, we had some comments that are also listed in your report. One referring to the fact that a report was prepared and submitted appropriately, and the background data that we needed in order to really dive in and look at things was not available, so that's why we had to include that in the report. The second item related to education stabilization funds. The district should do a sweep of all private schools within the district boundaries to ensure that they're participating in and receive those equitable type services as they are entitled to. The district, as I was informed, did provide PPE and things of that nature to those private schools. It just, from our side, it was hard to tell what it was that was provided because it wasn't specifically documented, and that's why we had to look at that. There's one implementation, actually there's two, but one of them importance from 2020's audit. The implementation addresses the available reserve that I spoke to in 2020's audit. It was at 1.5% at that time. The district has brought that up to the required 3%, but it's just barely there. So I would encourage continual oversight with ongoing budgets and looking at how things are, because that level of reserve is required by the state of 3%. Questions on the district?
I have a question. Is there anything we need to focus to improve on something, or is there an area of focus on maybe the district internal control or the procedure or anything in there that we need to focus on in the district?
I could give you an overall perspective that I have. I think you just need to build the talent pool within the offices of the business to where you have cross-training and things of that nature, so more people are aware of what's going on, and that in the event somebody leaves, right, all that information isn't lost on just one person. So I know it's challenging with the staffing levels that you're able to maintain, but it is important to get that training of those folks that are here, that's all you can afford at that time, to know a little bit about what went into the entire process of the business operation during the day.
Does anyone else have a question?
So, Mr. Rep, you want to go ahead and move to the bond audit?
Yes. So we're reporting on the June 30, 2021 Measure E bond. Not a whole lot of activity during the fiscal year. There's about 600 or 700,000 or so spent, I believe, and we tested 78% of that. So pretty significant amount of the transactions, and I'll say that the volume was just low during the year, so there wasn't too much for us to do in that regard. Both clean reports on financial and bond performance in accordance with election budgets. No items to report.
Any questions?
Yes, just one really quick question. So when you said you tested 78% of it, does that mean 78% of the roughly 700,000 was audited, or what do you mean by that exactly?
Yes, I can give you the specific description. It's on page 15 of the performance audit. We tested $516,000 worth of transactions, which is 78% of the total 661,000.
Okay, thank you.
No more questions? Okay. All righty.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it, and we'll keep a close eye on that timeline of December. So we'll work hard to make sure that we meet that time. Thank you, Mr. Rep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Item 12, Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Madam Vice President. To the community and to the board, this really ends up being the final board meeting of the academic year. But I think there's lots of cause for celebration. Just this week we had the Duarte High School Decision Day, and it was a huge, successful event. And I think that one of the things I would want to point out specifically about what Decision Day represented was that for the last couple of years, our high school graduates from this year, and all of our scholars as they're moving through our schools, they really have lived through some unprecedented educational circumstances. And I think that to have the level of excellence that we saw displayed tonight with Carly and Sarah and Catherine, if I remember correctly, I didn't mention, and Catherine, that's a testament to the hard work of our Duarte High School staff, our Duarte High School leadership, and then just Duarte as a city and as a community to make sure that our students still have great opportunities and great programs to plant themselves in, and then the ability to spread their wings and go out and do wonderful things. The other thing I want to put a fine point on about Decision Day is it is through the collaboration with the USC College Advising Corps and an amazing staffer named Charisma. I don't know Charisma's last name.
Melendez.
Charisma Melendez just did a wonderful job throughout the year keeping college awareness front and center for our Duarte High School Falcons. And those things are paying off. And so these partnerships that we have, not only with the USC College Advising Corps, but also with Citrus and also with City of Hope, and all of the programs that we have and all the things that we're doing to make sure that our students are college and or career ready is exactly what we should be doing. Also want to celebrate all of our open house events. I thought that all of our principals and staff and community did an excellent job showcasing all the wonderful things that are happening at all of our schools. And then the last thing, and Mr. Haro already kind of stole my thunder, but I'm a baseball guy, so softball is near and dear. I was going to just announce that, you know, our Duarte High School softball team won their quarterfinal. I didn't realize they won 16-0. That's like a whole nother level. But what you may not know is that the next game, which is the CIF semifinals, is going to be on Saturday, and it's a home game right here at Duarte High School softball stadium. So if you are in the area, come watch some high school softball on Saturday. And with that,
Sorry, Dr. Emerson,
yes.
do we know a time on that game yet?
We don't have a time yet, as I understand it. The two coaches do have to meet tomorrow, and then they will hash out, since it's Saturday, there's some flexibility to when the time can be on the game, as opposed to it being during the week. So they'll work out when that is. As soon as we know, we'll communicate that out so people know. And with that, that's the conclusion of my report, Madam Vice President.
So, let's see here. Item 13, request to address the board. And,
Yep,
and
we're
there's,
all ready.
oh, we're ready?
Yes.
Okay, and it's 3 minutes. We have about, the timeline is 3 minutes.
Correct. All right. Thank you, Madam Vice President. And the first speaker that I will invite to address the board is Heather Messner. Welcome, Heather. You have 3 minutes.
Good evening, board. Good evening, everybody who came out tonight. Thank you for showing support. The first thing I'd like to do is I would like to publicly congratulate our Teachers of the Year, Angie Salas, Pat Shear, Georgia Tripolles, Lotta Meyer, Lisa Bowden, Stephen Clayton, Anna Reyes, and the District Teacher of the Year, Tanya Lickman. Congratulations. Retirees with 13, thank you, board, for helping us through that. I'd like to honor John Albright, Marge Bloom, Pat Kramer, Beethan, Chrissy Yoakum, Mark Anderson, Cynthia Woodman, Rosa Gomez, Jesus Gill, Dee Longston, Carrie Hatfield, Corinne DeYoung, and our bargaining chair, Pat Shear. Congratulations, everybody. Tonight, we have 4 speakers aside from myself. Please listen to each address. At the end of the year, it is the end of the year, we have a lot of work to do. We are closing our classrooms, some of us for the last time. Yet we have 2 weeks left. We have not been at the table. We do understand that there are some issues that have occurred. However, there is absolutely no reason why there's still nothing but a bonus offered to our hardworking teachers. The May revise is coming. Lots of districts are waiting for that May revise, but there's still no excuse to have not presented any on-scale offer by this date. We also are calling upon you, please, board, direct the district to make time during our workday for negotiations. Negotiating after 3 p.m. is not acceptable, and that is our next date. We need to do this during the workday. We need to get it done. Last month, I just want to put this out here because this is where we're at. We have done a series of straw polls where 76% of our members are willing to do whatever it takes, including going on a strike if we need to do that. Only 20% said they needed more information. 4% said that they were thinking of leaving the profession. So please, we are calling on you. If you would like to come and observe our negotiations, please do so. We welcome you. but it is the time of the year for us to get this done and get this settled. And I now yield my time to our 4 GUEA members, Lauren Agahorn, Mary Rodriguez, Pat Shear, and Renee Omar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. I just want to share a little story, but before that I want to thank Dr. Amerson and Dr. Hillman for coming out to Decision Day. It was good to see you there. It meant a lot to the kids. My investment to our kids has been long-term. James was one of my students. It was nice to see Jenny, one of my former students. And I just wanted to share a story with you. I was on the negotiations team a little more than 10 years ago. And at that time, we asked for a 4% raise, and the district offered 1%. And this went on for about a year and a half. And I remember thinking, I can't take 1% back to the teachers after everything that they go through on a daily basis. So now fast forward, we've been through the pandemic. These people have been teaching 24/7. There are things I'd like to share with you, but I don't have the time to do that tonight. And some of them are confidentiality issues for students that they've gone through. It's been very difficult when you have that level of investment. But back 10 plus years ago, it was a Friday night. It was the last day of school before winter break. It was about 7:30 or so. We had been going back and forth. And I remember, unlike then, or unlike now, CTA has said that there's historic funding for education. And the governor has said, now's the time to support your staff. There's an 8% COLA. But back then it wasn't that situation. Everybody was tired and wanted to go home. And I remember the assistant superintendent on a Friday night calls the superintendent and says, what are we going to do? We're trying to avoid impasse. We don't know what to do to support these people. We're trying to make it work. It just can't. And the superintendent, as some of you may remember at the time, was a person from Arkansas. And so I'd just like to share his response and maybe get a little inspiration or movement when he said to the deputy superintendent, y'all give those people their money and go home.
Next, we'd like to invite Lauren Egglehorn.
Good evening. My name is Lauren Egglehorn, and I have been the resource specialist at Pearsley Academy for the last 14 years. Throughout my years as a special educator, there have been many moments when I considered leaving my position. Endless hours, endless paperwork, an endless stream of new initiatives, the threat of lawsuits, and student needs that have become increasingly more challenging. Then add salary and benefits lower than any comparable district, a lack of adequate resources, a lack of adequate professional development, and a stipend that, when I do the math, comes to an average of less than $5 an hour for the time I spend outside my workday writing reports and IEPs, facilitating and attending meetings, and finalizing paperwork. So why do I stay when I know there are districts desperate for special educators who will compensate me at a much higher rate? The answer is always the same. More than the relationship I have with my students, can I really put a price on amazing coworkers who include me and value me, or a principal who supports, encourages, and genuinely cares about me? No, I don't think I can. But how long will that be enough? The cost to simply live and work here continues to increase exponentially, but my compensation does not. As the primary earner for my family of 4, I feel the stress and pressure even more. I cannot afford to start over or turn in a new direction without putting my family at risk. My husband has put his career as a sound engineer on hold for the past 10 years in order to stay at home with our boys. Just when our youngest should have been off to TK, COVID hit, and the music industry suffered. My compensation is what keeps our family in our home, our children fed, and our bills paid. Sorry. If I was hired by Duarte Unified today, I could not afford to work here. 14 years ago, I was offered the option to take cash in lieu instead of opting into a district health plan. Because of this, I am able to enroll in an affordable plan outside of the district. If I were a new hire, Covering my family of 4 would mean an additional $1,000 minimum out of pocket. That would be impossible for us. Just covering myself would mean almost $100 out of pocket. But then there would still have to find a way to insure my family through other means, or my children and husband would have to go uninsured. These would be my only options. So, at the end of this year, when I'm once again trying to justify staying, will my amazing staff, principal, and students be enough for me to come back in the fall? And what about that amazing staff? Will they even be there? Or will they finally run out of reasons to stay too? Will they realize how hard we had to fight for even the bare minimum and walk away? What will this district be left with when this is all over? I ask you tonight, why can't we have a staff and principal we adore, an administration that prioritizes and supports their greatest assets, and a respectable wage? We are not asking for the impossible. Duarte can be a district that offers it all without sacrificing its future. And when it does, when our educators are respected and valued with more than just praise, who will gain the greatest benefit but our most important calling, our students?
That's time.
Thank you.
Next, the board invites Mary Rodriguez.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Rodriguez, teacher currently at Royal Oak STEAM Academy. I worked at USD for 37 years and have served over 7,000 students. I would like to start by reminding you all of the work, commitment, and dedication provided by your certificated and classified employees. Our job does not end with the first and final bell each workday. Our commitment to the students extends before class, after school, nights, weekends, holidays, breaks, and summers. It could come in the way of grading, lesson planning, curriculum writing, emotional support, attending sporting events, plays, performances, including travel to such events. Even after our students graduate, we continue to support with assistance in helping them write resumes, applying for scholarships, colleges, and yes, we are references for their jobs. Our excellence and investment in our students clearly goes beyond our workday. Do not forget the large amount of our own money we spend for classroom materials and on our students. We are all frustrated that this district places such a low priority on its certificated and classified employees. Duarte's district heads rank among the highest salaries for a district their size, where their employees are still at the bottom. Prices continue to go up, and checks either remain the same, or in my case and others, go down. I have seen many amazing employees leave the district because they cannot afford to stay here. Employees have dropped their medical and continually struggle to pay bills, causing unnecessary stress and burdens on our families. Most of us have second jobs to try to make ends meet. Loyalty and years of service are not valued here. All districts have suffered from COVID, declining enrollment and school closures as well, yet put their employees and students they serve in the forefront. It is disheartening to see so many talented colleagues leave our district. So many colleagues tired of being unappreciated, undervalued, and underpaid. I'm tired of hearing the ping of my phone almost daily, sometimes several times a day, with job openings in our district. Our low pay is keeping so many away and causing so many to leave. Give us the raise that we deserve. In conclusion, I would like to reference one of my favorite movies, Remember the Titans. Lessons about overcoming adversity, coming together as a team, a unit, a family, pushing through comfort zones towards excellence, accepting differences, difficulties, and working together towards a common goal. Prioritizing your team's needs. Sounds like an amazing place to be. Hashtag goals. I would like to close with a quote from the movie that resonates with me. Knowing that your employees feel frustrated, hopeless, underpaid, undervalued, and unappreciated, remember this, ladies and gentlemen, attitude reflects leadership.
Next, the board invites Pat Shear.
Good evening, board members. I wanted to give you an end of the year negotiating update. I hoped to have good news to tell you that we've reached a settlement, but unfortunately I'm unable to tell you that. Our meeting was canceled this month due to COVID. I have asked for and have not yet received a reply on rescheduling that date. Currently, the district has made an off-schedule offer to us, which is a bonus, not a raise. We've been offered 0% raise, which we find unacceptable. There are two very simple, easy ways to find the money. Number one, the second interim report shows that we have an 11.3% reserve this year, 6.3 next year, 3.29 the following year. These were based on the figures that Ms. Bell had with a COLA of roughly 3.5%. Per the governor's May release revised draft, that COLA is going to be considerably more. In the email I sent you the link. The projected COLA is to be over 6. We've heard as high as 8 in some estimates. That's an additional minimum of 2.5% more that is not in our budget. 2.5% of $37 million is $750,000, not budgeted anywhere, easily enough to give everybody the raise. A second way we can find it, at the back of the budget, it predicts our certificated staff at 193.8 full-time equivalent. We laid off 10 people. We were able to bring them back because 13 of us have retired. 13 teachers equal about $1.2 million in pay, not counting benefits. $1.2 million at $185,000 for a 1% raise easily covers a 6% raise across the board. These savings alone would more than pay by changing two differences in our budget. One, a prediction that our employees will remain the same. Second, extra money that's being given to us. Both of these are ongoing and will continue. We will meet again to negotiate after school, after working all day on the 23rd. Please do not be my last action with this district before I retire, refiling impasse. I really don't want to have to make that the way I end a wonderful career. Thank you for listening. And I take clarifications up to you from the back of the second interim.
We have received it. Thank you, Pam. Madam President, that is the conclusion of the public comments for this evening.
Item 14, general functions. Approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 7, 2022, and the special meeting of April 25, 2022. May I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approve the consent calendar. The next item of business is adoption of the consent calendar. Does anyone want to remove any item for separate discussion or action? Do you have?
Yes, I wanted to, I guess it's under the purchase orders, item H801. So I don't know if the whole purchase order has to come out or just that one item on there.
Madam Vice President, you can approve the balance of everything, and we can just address PO item H01 as a separate distinct item.
Got it. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar with the exception of H801?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. And, okay, roll call? Not roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And now let's, any discussion?
Yeah, so now at this point, you're going to consider PO item H801. You can just ask if there's a motion to approve item H801.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve H801?
So moved.
Second.
And then any discussion, I believe Dr. Finley has a question.
A discussion.
Yeah, so I was just, this has to deal with I guess the partnership that we have with DeVille. So I was just wondering if we could get a little explanation of how DeVille sort of incorporates with the USD and what that partnership is and how kind of it's funded. So I guess just an overview of that would be helpful.
So we have a long-standing relationship with DeVille. We really appreciate that partnership. They provide mental health services for our sites. Our teachers and administration are able to provide referrals and provide services through this partnership. It's certified by the county. Students can receive therapy or counseling as needed, and there's referral for mental health services that we really see as a need and continue to build that partnership with them.
And then that is funded, does it come out of LCAP or?
It is a priority in our LCAP. Our LCAP goal number 2 is creating a safe and emotionally and physically safe environments in our school, and we know that really, in order for our students to be successful throughout their careers, to be focused on mental health and to provide support with trauma and other circumstances is really critical.
Great, thank you very much, Dr. Hellman.
Any other questions? Discussion? Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's see here. To first reading. Okay, item 3, first reading of board policies. Can I get a motion?
So move.
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, any discussion, sorry.
You want to discuss it? Go for it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 4, consideration of options provided by statute to fill vacancy on Board of Education created by resignation and decision related there to May, where to, okay, there we go. Okay, may I have a motion to open the debate? Any question?
Move to open debate.
Okay,
Second?
all right.
Madam Vice President? So just one thing for the board to consider as you're deliberating on whether to consider a special election or to consider taking the power that's vested in you to do a provisional appointment. We did do a cost estimation on a potential special election, and this was actually done back in 2017. And we do know that there's been certainly an escalation in cost, but the estimated cost, which actually I didn't remember it was this high, but it was, the estimated cost in 2017 for a special election was $221,000. And so with that, I would like you all to consider that as one of the factors as you deliberate and discuss this. Thank you.
All approved? Or all in favor?
Sorry, can I, is now the time to ask a question about this?
So we're going to, should we go to the next?
Yeah, right now you can have discussion, and then once you have felt that you've had your discussion, you can then move to a vote.
Oh,
Am I accurate in that? Yeah.
all right.
So just a quick question about, going between the options of a provisional appointment and a special election. So if we were to select to do a special election, would the individual that ran in this election also have to run again in November, or would that make that not required?
They would have to run again in November.
So we were talking about an election in, I don't know, July, August, something like that, and then again a couple months later?
That's correct.
Yikes.
Question 2. Now, is this election, and this, okay, so we know we have a couple spots open for this year's election, but in this particular spot, is this open to all of Duarte to run for this one particular spot of the vacancy?
So as the board and likely members of the community already know, through the adoption of the trustee area map that the board did earlier during the course of this academic year, there will be 2 board seats that will be done by trustee area elections in November. With the resignation of board member Koo, Board Member Koo was elected in 2020, and as a result, she was elected for a term of 4 years. So being elected in 2020 for a term of 4 years, her board seat does not come back up for regular election until 2024, at which time that board seat would also be then in a trustee area. However, based on the timing of the resignation, because it happened before the next regular election, which is November of 2022, that's why we are in this situation where we're either considering a provisional appointment or a potential special election. Regardless of what direction and decision that the board determines, there will be another election for Board Member Koo's former seat in November, and it is because she was elected at large. It also will be held as an at-large election, meaning the entire geographic area encompassing the school district. So that would include our unincorporated area, the city of Duarte proper, as well as the Mesa, as well as the city of Bradbury. So hopefully that answers your question, Madam Vice President.
Yes, it does.
And just a little bit of further clarification. I think I understand this, but so should a person be appointed provisionally, if they wanted to remain on the board, they would then need to run in November, and if they wanted to continue beyond that, they would have to run, November 2022, and then again in November 2024, but the 2024 election would be by trustee area, the 2022 would be at large.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Well, not so much as a question is, I think when we just talked about a whole bunch of money tonight, I think the way that it would certainly be more effective, as far as I'm concerned, is to make the provisional direction, save the money as far as going to a whole bunch of additional costs as a school district here. And then let's see who comes forward to want to run and make the provisional appointment. I think that would be the best thing for us.
Madam Vice President, if I could just make a comment. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what Board Member Bell is saying. You do not have an interest in spending $200,000 to do a special election?
I do not have.
Okay, I just want to.
I don't have any interest in spending that kind of money.
Understood, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think, as we saw earlier with money, the situation here in Duarte, I think also it would be wise to keep the money in the district instead of spending it out at this point and making it more of an appointment myself.
Absolutely.
So, Madam Vice President and members of the board, at this time you've deliberated. I think I have a sense of where you're headed, and so you can move to the next part of your script there.
So we are now ready to vote. May I have a motion that the recommendation to exercise the authority provided to the governing board under Education Code Section 5090 and the Government Code Section 1770 to adopt a replacement to fill the vacant position created by the resignation of Jacqueline Koo to adopt, and that the timeline proposed by the administration be followed for that purpose. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion on this?
And Madam President, Madam Vice President, excuse me, just make sure that you cast your vote as well.
Oh, sure, okay. And all in favor? Oh, Cece Carroll too, okay, myself. Okay, all in?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye, okay, aye. Okay,
Perfect.
that goes through. Okay,
Before you move on, Madam President, so as the board is aware, and I think members of the community will also be aware, there is, what you just voted on was to adopt an actual timeline for the next steps and actually how this process is going to move forward. And so I just wanted to be clear with the community, that's what you were approving, was not only that you were going to do a provisional appointment, but also the recommended timeline for the actual filling of that appointed seat as well.
Would it be out of order to just briefly review that timeline so that we can, I mean, we've seen the attachment, but I don't know if everybody here watching or present has maybe seen that.
oh yeah, so here I have it too.
Yeah, I haven't, and I'm happy to do that. So the process and timeline to fill the board vacancy. So tonight, May 12th, the board has made the decision to do a provisional appointment. So tomorrow, May 13th, we will have a press release that will be posted announcing the acceptance of applications and also the dates and the timelines. And the board vacancy application we made available and posted on the district's website. On May 26th, that will be the deadline to submit applications for the vacancy. The week of May the 30th, we'll have an informational meeting for any prospective candidates with the superintendent. May 31st, applicants will be notified in writing of the next phase and the date of the interview. June 3rd, there will be another press release announcing the candidates for the open board seat. On June the 7th, we'll conduct a special board meeting where we'll have the interviews that will be conducted in public session, and then the vote for the applicant, there'll be a vote for the applicant to fill the board vacancy, and the administration of the oath of office for the appointed board member will all happen on June 8th. And then on June 7th, and then on June 8th, there will be a press release that will announce the newly appointed board member and the post of notice announcing the vacancy and the provisional appointment. So that's the timeline.
Thank you very much.
Could I get a copy of that when you get a chance? Just...
Yes, sir, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Almost quit. Okay.
All right. Okay, item 5, establish procedure for potential tie in the November 8, 2022 school board election. May I have a motion to approve to resolve potential tie by lots in the November 8, 2022 school board election?
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Well, it's getting to be serious.
Any discussion, yeah.
So we are not allowed to solve a tie by arm wrestling or something like that. It's,
For some reason, I thought you were going to say paper, rock, scissors.
So explain that to the audience.
Absolutely. So it almost comes back to the conversation we were just having about a special election. If in the unlikely event, I will say, that two candidates were exactly tied, which is not outside of the realm of possibility, just doesn't happen very often, there are two options. Option one is you can run another special election for a runoff. And we know what the cost of a special election cost. Or you can do something like draw lots, coin flips. I don't think arm wrestling is enough of a chance option, but draw lots, coin flip, those are the different variations. Draw straws, I mean, there's different, and so we have in the past adopted this, and our past practice has been through the determination by lot, draw by lots.
I did not know that could happen. Okay. Alrighty.
You're ready to vote?
Okay, yes. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 5. I'm sorry, item 15. Point 1, I guess, it was a personal student services. Resolution 28-21-22, implementing certificate layoff of terminating services of certificate employees. Do we have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay. Discussion? No? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 15.2, declaration of need for fully qualified educators for the 2022 to 2023 school year. Do you have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, just run that quick thing by me just to make sure the need for this.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bell. So this is a regular routine annual document that we bring to the board. It is where we state what we could potentially anticipate as an area of need. Customarily, this is in the area of special education. This could be in the area of targeted science classes, targeted mathematics, those high needs areas. And so we do this on an annual basis in the event that there is the need to say, the state has gotten more and more stringent on who can serve in a classroom, and so we want highly qualified teachers who are fully credentialed. But in some cases, when you've made this declaration of need saying that this is an impacted area, there's a defined shortage, There are things that can happen at the state level where they give us waivers, emergencies, interns, different designations on the credential that allows them to provide that service in that targeted specific area because you all would have approved the declaration of need. So it's a regular routine thing that we do every year.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, Dr. Hillman, were you prepared to speak to that one, or?
You did great.
Okay, all right, because I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh, maybe she was prepped for this. All right. Thank you.
If you need me to speak more, I will, but you're fine.
Thank you, Dr. Hillman.
Okay, if we're done with the discussion, are we ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to 15.3, resolution number 27-21-22 regarding the layoff reduction in hours of classified. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 15.4, MOU between DUSD and CSEA, chapter number 25, regarding the Juneteenth holiday. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, discussion.
So, yes, I believe I already know the answer to this, but the reason that there's not an MOU between DUSD and DUEA is because this is outside of the normal academic year?
That is correct, because our certificated staff works on a defined contract period. They would not be providing regular service during that time. They may be providing summer school service, so on and so forth, but we wouldn't have that as a holiday. We wouldn't have a summer school scheduled on that day. The timing of this, so I'm just going to go a little bit beyond your question, and as to why this MOU and why right now. If I take you back a year to June 18th, 2021, President Joe Biden actually signed Juneteenth into federal law as a national holiday. Since it literally happened like the next day, we kind of, for lack of a better term, we kind of rolled with the punches and just made provision, knowing that we were going to need to come back and talk with our classified staff about an MOU of how we deal with this particular day, because classified employees are working. This is the outcome of those discussions to make sure that there were working conditions that were commonly and collectively bargained and agreed between the district and the association. So that's the product that you have in front of you.
Thank you.
No more questions? Okay, discussion on this? Okay, ready to vote.
The funding is, there's no additional funding for this, it comes out of our own budget.
Well, what it does is it changes the work calendar, and what it does is it creates an additional paid holiday for classified employees that regularly provide service during that period of time. And so that's why you needed to negotiate like how that time would be allocated, how it would be treated.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 15.5, calendar for the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion on the school year?
Yes, I have a quick question or comment. I had heard a rumor that we might be working towards getting these academic years a couple years out. Is there progress on that? Do we have an update on that?
Well, Dr. Finley, we don't like rumors. So what we would do is we'll have Dr. Hillman, who will talk about a deliberative kind of conversation that's been going on. Yes.
We have begun the process of working with our committee. The committee consists of representatives from our bargaining units as well as administration. We've developed draft calendars for the next 2 years after next year. And then at this point, it would be going to each of the bargaining units to get their thumbs up on the draft, and then we would bring it to you for consideration.
precise timeline, I don't have that at the moment, but reassuring you and some of you in the audience to know that it is being worked on, because we understand, not just our community, our staff as well, like to make plans to some things that they might want to be doing in the future in the years to come. So we recognize that as a priority.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Hillman. And ideally, would the plan be to then every year do the third year out? Is that kind of the plan?
That would be my priority. I would need to definitely want to move that forward with all of us involved. We'll be looking at that.
Excellent, thank you.
I know I, as a parent, would appreciate that. I always misplan the dates around different dates, so I really am in favor of that, actually. So, any other questions or discussion on this item? Okay, ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 16, educational services. 16.1, program offerings for summer school 2022. And this is just to receive for information the program offerings for summer school 2022. So just, okay, move on to item 17, business and finance. Annual financial audit report for the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, really quickly. So, sorry, I forgot his name, Mr. Gill, was that it?
Right.
Brian, yes. Oh, Ralph, that's right. He had mentioned that, was this sort of late this time, but we're getting it back on track next year, or this year, I guess?
Yes, so we did encounter some challenges with the transfer of information. And the board will recall that when Mr. Bowler retired in September, Ms. Bell started commensurate at the same time, and there were some other staff changes that, and then there was a little bit of a loss in translation, so it took Ms. Bell and her team time to kind of reconcile, find everything, kind of get it all back together, which extended us beyond the normal deadline. We recognize that. What you also heard in Mr. Ruff's comments is that investing in the talent within the department, cross-training, these are conversations that Ms. Bell and I have had about how do we build, cross-collaboration, and so that one desk, or not even one desk, one person has all of the knowledge in their head, and if they then leave, all the knowledge then leaves with them, and everybody else is left kind of trying to figure out how to connect the dots. So she is implementing a plan of cross-training and making sure that we're building robust systems where not only is it in people's heads, it's also on paper, and it's also being cross-trained. So
that is very good to hear.
Anything else you want to add to that, Ms. Bell?
Part of it was also,
Your mic, there you go.
part of it also was COVID. They wanted to have a physical audit, and they did not want to do it away. And so they wanted to make sure before they came to the office too. So that was part of it.
Great. Okay, and I guess anytime I turn in like a bill late or something like that, there's a fine associated. Did we get any fine or a slap on the wrist or anything?
We did not, because of COVID.
Okay.
Part of it was that there was a transition, but it was more so on their part too, where they didn't come in because of COVID prior to Mr. Bauer leaving.
And I would agree with Ms. Bell, and I would go one step further to say that I heard in between the lines of what Mr. Ruff said, which is the state has not extended any deadlines for this year, so I read that as get your stuff done and get it done on time.
So meaning the state did extend a deadline for this past year, but they're not doing it this year. Is that right?
Once we realized they weren't coming in, I had to file for an extension, and then we met the extension.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you. And thanks for all your hard work on that as well. I know that's that's a lot.
It's my job.
We can read between the lines. You do a good job.
You do, Tiffany. Any more discussions on this or questions for Tiffany? All right, we're going to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 17.2, Annual Measure E General Obligation Bond Program Audit Report 2020 to 2021. Do you have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Discussion? I think that report turned out okay. So it just looked like everything was on the up and up. So.
Yeah, and as Ms. Ruff stated, there was not as much activity. It was in the middle of COVID. So there wasn't a lot of building. There wasn't a lot of activity going on. But as you all know, if you've been on the high school, you see there's lots of activity. There's going to be a lot of construction, a lot of movement. So there'll be a lot of activity that you'll see in the next audit report.
As you're talking about the school, I haven't seen everything. Have they torn quite a bit or moved things around? Or torn?
Yeah, they've completely torn out all of the asphalt. They've completely kind of earth movers and all that kind of good stuff to take out the basketball courts where the new tennis courts will go in. Once that happens, then they will move forward with knocking down the current tennis courts, because that's where the new gymnasium will be housed. And so there's a lot going on right now. We actually just had a pretty intense call with the construction management team, the architecture firm, about kind of next steps on bidding the actual high school gym and moving that work forward. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 17.3, accept bid and award contract to Palo Alto via Borderland reseller to provide the district firewall services. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Discussion?
Is that because just to improve or we've had some problems? I mean, off the top, just.
I'm actually pulling it. I don't know if either of the team wants to address this item.
It's just to improve.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 17.4, accept bid and award contract to Coravon for moving and relocating services. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Discussion?
Yeah, just one quick question. So it seemed like one of the main differences between these two options, aside from the price, was that Coravan was going to remove furniture and repurpose those items. So they're basically, if they have to dispose of them, they're covering any sort of disposal fees or anything like that.
That is my understanding.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 17.5, Resolution 21-22, cash borrowing resolution from School Pool Fund, Los Angeles County Treasurer for the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second?
Discussion? I have a question on this one. So is this one, something that we do every year? I mean, it's something that is routine, every year, and for the purpose of just having something just in case.
That's correct. And I'll let Ms. Bell address
There you
this.
go.
Go ahead.
Explain it.
This is routine, and
Routine.
it's just a simple.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 17.6, Resolution 30-21-22, temporary interfund cash borrowing resolution for the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Okay, discussion. If there's no questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 17.7, year-end appropriation transfers for the 2021-22 school year. Do I have a motion?
So move.
So, second?
Discussion?
Yes, so maybe Ms. Bell, would you mind just briefly explaining this? The way I understand it is just we can temporarily move funds around to make ends meet as long as we replenish those funds, is that right?
That is exactly correct.
Nailed it. Thanks.
You got that, okay. Any other questions?
Bam.
Well, if there's no further questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to move to 17.8, approval of the Public Agency Retirement Services PARS Supplementary Retirement Plan for the Duarte Unified School District. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. So again, I don't know, I think Ms. Bell has made me wishing that I was a little bit quieter, but I just to get a better feeling of what this means. So those employees that are retiring this year, they are, there was an incentive to do so because of this plan. Can you talk a little bit about what that incentive is and what the district is sort of on the hook for, so to speak? Or is that not the right way to put it?
I don't have the hook. I don't have the hook.
Well, what I would say, I'll talk in general terms because I think that Ms. Bell would want to quote specific terms and numbers. The parameters around this is that we agreed that if a certain number of teachers, a certain number of certificated staff members agreed to take the retirement incentive, the district would then enter into this program which would pay 70% of that salary, whatever their ending salary was, over a span of 5 years, thereby then taking more veteran teachers who tend to be at higher levels on the salary scale, i.e. they're more expensive employees to the district, they retire, making them room to then fill in those spaces by less expensive employees, thereby then the district trying to realize a differential in the cost of one employee versus the other. That's offset by the 70% requirement, not requirement, the 70% kind of premium that we're paying over the span of that 5 years. So there is a savings in this, but it is reduced by the fact that we have to pay for something over the course of 5 years, and we are also replacing those retired teachers. We are replacing those teachers, and but we do, and I think, don't quote me on the numbers, I think there's something to the effect of about a $500,000 savings over the course of that 5-year period to the district, all things being equal. So does that help, Dr. Lynn?
Yes, yeah, that helps out very much. Thank you.
About 445.
Oh, see, I told you she was going to give you specific numbers.
The real numbers.
So 445,000. Because if I say 500,000, that's $55,000 over, and we got to get it to 445. There you go.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. No other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Item 18, non-agendized items by board members, student board. Well, we don't have them here today, and the superintendent for discussion. Okay. So are we, let's see, we'll start with Mr. Bell, non-agendized.
I just want to thank the many calls and phone calls and things regarding my family. Again, I did lose my mom. But I did have her for 77 years, so I can't get mad about it. She was a wonderful mother. And then probably the one that thing that kind of shook me up the most was my brother, my youngest brother, and he passed suddenly about 5 days after mom, and that kind of shook up the family. But I appreciate the warm words and the flowers and the plants and the things that people do to support. It is something totally out of what I'm normally around. Of course, people don't die all the time, but when it's personal, it really is personal. But thank you for the warm, the calls, the plans, the things of saying hang in there kind of thing. Because it is new. You know, I haven't had death in family for quite a while. And so, but I'm still standing, and again, it's good to have support. It's good to have people around me and people say nice things. And So I'm just standing tall. I'm glad I'm here this evening. So thank you very much.
Dr. Finley?
Yes, thank you very much. This was an exciting meeting to be at, to see our schools recognized, to see our students recognized. It's interesting to hear about the accomplishments of some of these students. I would imagine a lot of our students, but just the ones that were brought forward tonight. I took some notes down here, and I wrote, when do they sleep? Because I mean, just with everything they're involved with, it just sounded exhausting. So it really it makes me very, very proud of the work that is happening in DUSD, and I know that is a function of the students' initiative and drive, the help of DUSD staff, the teachers, their families, and just the community at large for making it possible for these students to be in an environment where they can really do their best work. And I think that really hit home for me going to, I was able to make it to, I think, all of the open houses that happened toward the end of this year. And, that foundation that allows the students to excel, it doesn't just start at Duarte High School. It starts very, very early on. It starts, in the crib at home. It starts around the breakfast table, and then it gets passed over to the different academies that we have here, to the teachers, to the after-school events and sports. Long before they ever make it to the high school, that really strong, solid foundation is there. And so I think this is a celebration of the entire community that has sort of wrapped their arms metaphorically and probably physically and literally around these students to help them succeed and really to realize their true potential. So it was really wonderful to see them be recognized tonight, and it, I probably can only have Mr. Bell confirm this, but definitely I was having the hairs on the back of my neck sticking up. It was really, really impressive to see and hear about their accomplishments. So I'm looking forward to graduation and promotions and everything that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. I was talking to somebody and they were saying, yeah, we're really excited about the school year. This is a friend in Colorado. He said, yeah, I'm excited about the school year wrapping up. And I said, I'm so excited for graduation. And they said, graduate? What are you talking about? And I said, oh, well, I get to hand out the diploma holders to the graduates. And I said, I'm so excited about that because there's a special sparkle that exists in every single graduate's eyes as they walk across that stage. And some of it is excitement to be out of there. Some of it is excitement to move on to the next thing. But there is so much potential and energy that exists in each of those students, and I'm just really excited to participate in that. So that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Finley. I guess I'll speak a little bit. I'm going to echo whatever James said. He said it in such a perfect way, so I'm not going to destroy that. But these girls were, I think a lot of them took advantage of the early college, and it's going to benefit them because my daughter, that's one thing she said, I wish I would have done the early college portion because it does take, you go to that major a little quicker, instead of having to do some of the other classes. But I'm so grateful we do have the resources here in our school district. I mean, taking advantage of that early college, a lot of them did APs along with the early college. That, like you said, where do they sleep? I don't even know. And sports on top of that and whatever else they're putting into it. These are highly accomplished kids in our school district. And you know what? It does have to do with the leadership and the way, and it starts, like he said, from the beginning. It starts at home and it moves into the elementary schools over. And so we have these accomplished kids. And like I said, how many were 4 point above? There's quite a bit of kids this year. It's just amazing. I actually had a chance to move on to a different conversation, move on to actually sit with Sophia at the preschool self-review assessment, and I did that last year. And I have to say, I just love Sophia and what she's doing. And I mean, there's no one like her. She's incredible. She really cares about, talk about starting from the basis. Preschool, she ultimately cares what goes on in that preschool with the teachers that teach there to the parents, and she just wants to grow this preschool. Right now, it's absolutely full. I don't think there's a spot in there right now, but to grow it, to kind of start working on trying to get more recruitment, maybe making this, getting recruitment or getting new parents, maybe with the self-pay, the ones who'll pay from City of Hope. I can't say enough of what I was hearing in that, what she had to say at the assessment. She is doing an incredible job. So I had to plug her in. She's amazing. Also, like James and all of us, we went to several, I think I missed one by accident, but, it was an accident because I didn't read it was that day, but it was Mount Olive, so I didn't get, and that's one of my favorites too. Mount Olive always has the barbecue, so they're really good. But they're all very different. They're all, I think you can say we're all very different in what they did, but unique in their own way, and, and you have different staples to the school. Like, for instance, Andrew's starting with art, you have the dual immersion, so there's so many different differences. They're unique, but it's just wonderful. I so enjoyed all going and meeting some of the teachers I have never met at Maxwell even and Beersley. So, and also tomorrow night I think there's a jazz. Is it called Moonlight or? So I'm so excited with our jazz kids, a jazz band. These kids have been playing a lot throughout the year now, and there's just another amazing group of kids at our school with our amazing teacher, Mr. Limon. He's doing a fabulous job, and we're going to have some citrus and a renowned trumpeter or somebody who's a professional there. So if anyone hasn't looked into it, come out tomorrow night to Duarte High School. And also, I'm going to say, I'm so sad. I think Charles, I think we walked with him I think he helped us out one year I got to meet your brother, I believe. Yes, Charles' brother. So I'm so sorry to hear you. But yeah, no, I do remember him, and I'm so sad to hear the news about that. So he was a really nice person. I mean, I talked to him for a day, and he was wonderful, and I'm so sorry to hear that. And that's all I had. Thank you.
So just a couple of concluding comments, because some of the things that members of the board said resonated with me. If you want to brighten your day, go to a preschool classroom. So you hear Dr. Hillman chuckling over there, because we always, when we go and do visits and we find ourselves together in a preschool classroom, we turn into very large preschoolers. We get on the ground, we get on the jungle gym, we run around, we try to get on the tricycles. No, we don't get on tricycles, we're way too big for that. But the point is, the joy, the fun, the play that you see happen at preschool as a basis for and an impetus for learning is astounding, what they are actually able to do with 3, 4, and 5-year-old kids. And many times I find myself asking, why don't we just use these same strategies in an 11th grade AP US history class, right? Kinesthetic learning, auditory learning, visual learning, like all the different modalities. That's how people learn. That's how it gets embedded and immersed into who you are, is by having all these different types of experiences, inside, outside, up, down, moving around, singing, playing, listening. I think I made my point. What our preschools do is amazing, and it creates a great foundation for our students matriculating into the rest of all of our schools. So I just think Sophia absolutely should be recognized and applauded for her work. To Dr. Finley's point on the eyes that you see from the graduates. So it made me harken back to my time as a high school principal. And during that time, I actually oversaw 4,000 graduates because each class had about 800. This Arroyo Valley High School is the size of Duarte Unified School District. And so the eyes that you see as principal or as board members, the look of like exhilaration, the look of fear, the look of, I can't wait to get rid of you people. Like you get every single set of eyes you can imagine. And it's the most wonderful experience. And I just try to help them remember that today is just the first step in many, right? You just open the door to everything else. It's not the finish line, it's actually the starting blocks. And then the last thing is, two more things. I'm looking forward to the Moonlight Jazz Festival tomorrow night. Actually, I think I was part of the hype man on that at the last board meeting, telling everybody to go to that. I just think that Mr. Lamone is doing a really good job. And then this renowned trumpeter who's going to be there, and then the collaboration with Citrus College. It's just a lot of opportunities for us to do some really cool stuff. And then the last thing, just to our esteemed board member, Mr. Bell, that what he has gone through, and I don't want to amplify that more than it needs to be, but I just hope he knows that we will always be here for you and to support you, and we know you, we know your family, and we know how much they mean to you, and you exemplify that with your service and with your commitment and everything that you do. And so just anything and everything that we can do, just know that we'll always be there for that. So, and with that, that's a conclusion of my comments. Thank you.
And again, you just made me think of something. When I got in, I saw the red shirts, and I knew that there was things about people, about the money and all this stuff. And I just want to tell the administration how much we, as a board, appreciate you providing the information for us to make the decision that we ultimately have to make for the community. It's never easy. In the 33 years, even when they made their statement about Dr. Terry Nichols talking about, just get it done. My thanks are that you all work very hard and you give us good information to try to make the right decision. And there was no animosity as far as I'm concerned, seeing the teachers saying what they wanted to say and to be able to make their needs met. And I don't think there's a board member here that wouldn't give everything they could. And none of you administrators would not do everything you could to do it. So I just appreciate the fact that there's not that attitude of what are they doing here and hollering about money. We all want to do something better. I just appreciate the feeling of togetherness about making it better for everybody, because it's nothing about negativity for the staff. That they deserve it. And you know and I know if we can give it to them, we're going to do it, and I guarantee you that's going to happen. But thank you for that feeling of atmosphere that is not against us, against them, or what have you. And that's important for me as a board member. So thank you very much for that feeling. Thank you.
Well said, Ken. So we're going to go to item 21, adjourn in memory of Charles Bell. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? I'll second. I haven't done anything tonight.
I'll second.
Okay. I
I
did a lot, but any more discussion on this? But okay, so I guess all in favor?
Aye.
Board adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, board.